Make a million cash for you flatline. Make a master plan, watch it backfire. Burn it all down and collect the ash.
Boy Zay, and we back with another podcast because official site fashion, where we talk about fashion, financial literacy, and mindset. And you know who I'm with again, man.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Zion tapping in with yet another episode
Yes,
of Official Site Fashion, financial literacy, and mindset topics through the lenses of young creators and entrepreneurs.
Yo.
And yet again, we bring to you another great creative entrepreneur. We got Mr. DEJR BOSTICK from Dade County, Florida. And he's the founder of Black Men Meditate, where he practices meditation moments, daily affirmations, putting out great media about the importance of meditation and like just creating a healthy ecosystem around Black men. How you doing today?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, man. And let me just first say that, man, truly grateful and honored, man, just for this opportunity, man, to be able to share what I do, to be able to share with like-minded individuals, man, that's definitely about our community and about definitely uplifting the community as well.
Most definitely, man. I met DEJR BOSTICK. I was at Greenville Tech at the time, and I was in a trio program, and him and his wife was actually doing like a meeting with us, telling us about like the foundation of having a healthy mindset and like a good like this relationship. And he was talking like some smart gems on there. So one day, man, I'm at the gym, and then I'm like, man, that brother looks so familiar. So I was like, hey, bro, because you were talking at Greenville Tech like to us. So, and I remember that we talked about meditation. And
that's
the
right.
Importance of it. And he was like, with us men, we got to tap into both like these synergies, feminine and the masculine. So, I mean, I wanted to ask you, why is that like important to tap into both like these synergies? Not like even as a man, but as a human being.
Oh, absolutely, man. So those particular two energies, that the masculine and feminine, is what gives us a balance. Sometimes you see a lot of men that are either more of one or the other. So they're always lacking something. It is that balance of being able to have the nurturing spirit, whether it's in relationships or your friendship. One of the things about the feminine energy, and the way I like to call it, it allows me to reach out to friends, to truly be a friend to those individuals that's close to me. The masculine allowed me to be a protector. So whenever an individual doesn't have one, they're lacking in some way. And sometimes we think, no, I don't want that feminine energy. Balance, like that balance is what makes you to do great things, not only in this world, but it's that balance that allow you to aspire for greatness. Because the higher that you climb in your levels of success, you got to have both of those. Like if you notice, whenever a man is connected to a woman, and they are on a level of harmony, that balance allowed them to aspire to be great. So that's why whenever you saw me talking with my wife, like it was so amazing, because when she came into my life, I operated from only the masculine pseudo feminine. But when she came into my life, I was able to be both of them. And she was able to go. So whatever I'm not, she is. You know what I mean? So for a man, that's that balance. But we've been taught in our community that, you can't have that. Yeah, you can have that. I'm still pure man. But for me, it's that balance now. Now I'm able to have an edge on individuals that's only operating out of one.
Exactly, and having that polarity, and that's extremely like just like important. And absolutely. I remember I came to one of your meditation classes, and we sat down outside, me, you, Jerome, and Javaris Conway, and you had us like manifesting some things, and you was like, now manifest and meditate where you want to be 5 years from now. And I wanted like to ask you like, what does manifestation mean to you?
Oh man. So manifestation means to me the ability to create. Like before we did anything, we were always creators. Even if we want to go from a biblical standpoint, whenever Adam was consulting with God, one of the first things that God said, he said, Adam, whatever you call that animal is what it will be. He didn't worry about, well, let me see, God, what would you call it? He already had the ability to create inside of him. God was just showing him it's already in you. So he looked at it and said, rat, cat, bird, tree, you know what I mean? All of these particular animals, pigeon, He didn't stutter because he knew whatever I speak, I can create, I can manifest. So the power was in the words that he was speaking, and he didn't doubt what he said. So where a lot of people mess up when it comes to manifestation, we speak things that we don't even truly believe.
Come on now.
Say, I want to be a multimillionaire, but your actions and your mindset is totally opposite of the words that you're saying. So now when it doesn't come to fruition or maturation of bearing fruit or manifestation, it's because everything has to line up. So whenever I say, this is what I'm going to do, this is who I am, I believe it. So my mindset is already locked into it. So for me, manifestation, the ability to create, it's a secret power that we have that we don't even use, because the society and the world tells us, you sure you can do that? You sure this can be the #1 podcast in the world? You know, it's a whole lot out there. No, look, mine will be. Your words and your daily movement, your actions says it. And then people start paying attention because they were like, man, you spoke something, and look at it coming to pass. See what happened?
Million cash for you flatline. Make a master plan, watch it backfire. Burn it all down and collect the ash. Build it back. Respect your passion. Witness to some shit that you shouldn't see. Whisper to yourself.
Yes, sir. So like you said, a lot of prolific things within that. So I wanted to ask you, like, when was you first introduced to like manifestation and meditation? Like, let's start from the beginning. Like, growing up, was that part of your life in your upbringing, manifesting and meditating, or is it something you found later in your adult life?
Oh man, great question. It really wasn't. I just knew I was different. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But I had everybody trying to conform me to a certain thought. I came from a very kind of religious background. When I was 12 years old, I got ordained and licensed to preach.
Okay.
I remember message was, who are you really when no one's around? That's who you are really. My mom had created the road, and the V on the road was so long, man. And they gave me a step stool so I can get up there. So when I was already molded to conform to a certain thought process. But one of the things that was great about it, even in that thought process, I wanted to be good. I wanted to understand people. But it wasn't until I went through some things in my life. I went through a separation. I went through a divorce. I was not the man that I am today. And that's when I say, you know what? I need to change some things about my life. I need to become a better version of myself. And I'd already knew the art of manifestation. I said, but you know what? I'm at the very bottom now. Let's see how this thing works out.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. And despite what everybody was saying, I just silently kept going to work and kept showing up for myself. Before long, I knew that whatever I spoke, it was going to come to pass. And I didn't let anybody tell me otherwise. I was like, yep, if I spoke it, it's going to come to pass. And I just kept going to work. And before long, people were like, man, you said exactly, you're doing exactly what you said. And so I tell people all the time, say what you see until you see what you said.
But say that again.
Say it one more time for.
Say what you see until you see what you've said.
Wow,
You know what I mean? So I'm speaking what I already see. Nobody else got to see it.
Yeah.
But before long, I'll see what I've said. And I know we'll talk about it before later on. But when it comes to what I do at Hero Fitness, I said what I saw until I saw what I said. Yeah.
I can resonate with that because like the things like we manifest, like you said something like you said we want to be the #1 podcast. That's something I personally say every day. That's part of my affirmations when I wake up and I say I'm grateful. Right. I'm the owner of Official Site Fast, the largest online media platform in the world. Exactly. It's like I'm confident, and it's like evident because like the things we said we was gonna be doing last year, we doing it. We got a setup now. Yeah. We got microphones. We got YouTube. We got TikTok. So it's like the big stuff don't come to pass as well because like the small stuff is happening as well.
Exactly, man.
I can say something, Zion, what is so key. So because I have a YouTube page as well, and I did a YouTube on the Art of Affirmations. That the Art of Affirmations, that it has to be slogan style. You see how you said that and it rolled off your tongue? You didn't have to think about it?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't 50 paragraphs long. It was something that I could say, and it's always in the top of your mind. That's always going to run. That's one of the keys to affirming and manifestation. Yeah. It's those daily habits those slogan style things that you say every day. And now you putting yourself in it. I am this. Whatever you put, I am, controls your destiny. No, good again or bad. If you say, man, I'm sick, guess what you're gonna be?
See,
You're gonna be sick, but guess what? I'm rich. So those little things like that, I already know that you will aspire, y'all will aspire to be exactly what you said you will, because you've already put the tools in place. Now you just gotta, hey, watch how time manifests itself.
Yes, and I also want to ask you, how important do you feel that young people grasp this type of information, these type of practices, early in their life, rather than having to like grow up and learn certain practices and learn better ones? Because I feel like as a young adult, in my position, growing up like in a single parent home, around certain things you might not want to be around, I feel like I've had to unlearn certain stuff and gain like better practices. So how important do you feel it is of people meditating stuff at a young age?
It's absolutely detrimental. So what I did was Black Men Meditate. I created programs that goes into certain mentorship groups and certain school systems. Because one of the things I do recognize is that when that child that comes from homes like we did that was single parent, where we constantly saw drugs. Like I'm from Dade County, so I made it 12, 13, 14 was big because people around me were dying off. So because exactly. So because of those things that I was dealing with at the time, I had to understand something, that individuals were not bringing information to our communities. So to be able to equip a student with the opportunity to learn affirmations, to learn what triggers them, to know how to deal with certain behaviors. Now you're equipping them to deal with life. So when they get our age and older, they're not dealing with those certain things that they have to unlearn. And now you got to go back and heal inner childhood wounds. Because that's one of the things I had to do. I had to go back and deal with. I felt at one point that anything I loved would leave me. So I felt like, okay, every relationship I got in, I was going to get in and give half because you ain't going to get me. You know what I mean? So for youth, one of the key things that you want to do, you want to make sure that you're equipping them with these tools. So now when they become mature, they already got tools to help them really succeed in life.
Man, I can most definitely like just feel that, because I remember when like my mom died and when I started dating, I felt like every woman was gonna leave me. Like, you know what, my mama didn't stay, so you gonna leave too. Until I started gaining self-knowledge. You know, people gain self-knowledge by different things. Me through books, you may be like the meditation. So what and how can you say for the ones who don't have knowledge of self, how can they gain knowledge of self?
Oh man, I'm big on your circle, man.
Yeah.
Like you got to have a circle around you that's willing to pour into you to be your greatest self. Because to have knowledge of self doesn't just come naturally. You have to see an example somewhere that it is possible.
Yeah.
Once you see that it's possible. So I'll be straight up with you. Growing up, I never saw men that didn't cheat.
Yeah.
I just never saw that. So I was running around like, man, that's just what we do. To the point that there was a point in time, people like, hey, look, this is just how your family is. This is what y'all do. So because I didn't have an example around me, I did exactly until one day I saw an example and I said, oh, wow, that's possible. It's possible to live that type of life. So for me, first of all, that's one of the biggest things that you want to look at is check your circle. Then you get information. You start studying it. Okay, I start studying, okay, inner childhood wounds. Let me see what this is about. Because one thing that I've learned is that once you get information, you're now accountable for it. And that's, don't seek it out, because now I don't want to be accountable for what I now know. You know what I mean? So that's one.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Yeah, like that Nipsey Hussle quote. Like once you get the information, like who want to be a dumbass on purpose? Like, like it's right there. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
You've been ignorant. You've been a hypocrite because you know better. You still doing the stupid stuff. Nobody does that.
Exactly.
But it is people who do that, but like it's like self-destructive. Why would you want to do it?
Absolutely, absolutely. But to be very honest with you, some people choose that because to change means that I have to now become uncomfortable in something that was once comfortable.
Yes, that's amazing.
It's a thing for me to stay in my level of comfort. But I've learned anything that makes you uncomfortable creates growth, and growth creates success. It's all a pattern. It's all a formula that once we understand the formula, we can truly have a good life. But most people say, nah, that's too much. That's going to require too much of me. So we stay the same. And before long, we get later on in life and we're now frustrated because one day we'll meet the person that we could have been. And that's the hardest thing.
I like that, man. You talk about the process, and what I hear is the opportunity of having heaven on earth. And also, like, you can have heaven on earth, but you got to go through that process. Because my auntie said, man, you got to go through the hellfire. And you was saying that, you know, you was working at your job and you showing up. And I also wanted to say, like, do you do this like full time, like Black man's, like this meditation, and you being like a bodybuilder?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. So it's one thing that one day I said, hey, this is who I am now. I had to fully embrace that. You know what I mean? Like the ability, because I was a selfish person. I cared about me.
Yeah.
But whenever you start growing, you start saying, man, who can I help? Because I found a way to come out of these patterns of thinking. Who can I now help? And it becomes a part of your core. It becomes a part of who you are.
Most definitely. And I wanted to ask you is, you know, for the ones who want to be the aspiring entrepreneurs, but they still working this 9-to-5 job and they want to get out this system, this rat race, like what type of like this advice can you give them to get out the rat race and do what they love to do full time? Because because sometimes people may give up or people may get through it, but how was you able to get through it and be like this where you are now?
Honestly, it took time.
Yeah.
I still stayed with that 9-to-5, still stayed in corporate. And one of the things that I did, I worked on my side hustle at the time because it was hustling.
Yeah.
I worked on that until now I was making more doing that. And I felt more inspired. I felt more authentic doing that. And I knew it was time for me to be able to shift away from that old way of thinking and now help more people. So sometimes we think, oh, I want to do this thing that I'm passionate about. And we just leave the 9-to-5. Now we just struggling. You know what I mean? Like I done met some people like, man, but this is what I love to do. But bruh, you living in your car.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. I remember it was a time when I was in between that I had to put my pride to the side and go work for a job where I was, and I don't mind sharing it, where I was literally shaving down metal. But one of the things when I left that place, they said, and I was only there for 4 months. And they said, we'll never be able to replace you. Because I understood that whatever I put my hand to, it was a test. God was saying, okay, let me see, can you make yourself nothing so you can have everything? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't known as, and I've traveled all over the place, and I've had a very international name. And they were like, man, ain't that dude? He working in a plant. And I was like, yeah, I sure am.
Yeah.
Good that I was willing to do whatever to make sure that I was providing and that I was still inspiring. They'll tell you, they reach out to me now, be like, hey, man, we just so proud of you, man. We seeing that it is possible that when you do things with excellence, that it'll inspire everybody. You know what I mean? Don't do it thinking, man, I ain't supposed to be here. Your attitude, you will never get to that next place in your life until your attitude changes concerning where you currently are. You never lose sight of where you're going. But while I have the opportunity to be present, again, meditation allows you to be present wherever I'm at. I'm not thinking about thoughts of past or future. I'm present right now. The future gonna be there. I've already set my goal for the future. But while I'm present, I know that this moment right here will ultimately lead me to that future me. You know what I mean? But if I skip the present moment thinking of only thoughts of the future, then we miss it.
Missing the lessons, man. Yeah. And I also want to say, we talk about the meditation, and people meditate different ways all the time. So what are some of the key factors or like the examples of how can someone get started in the journey of meditation? Exactly.
Absolutely, bro. It's breathing. Meditation is nothing but the opportunity to be able to breathe. So breathing is the only scientifically proven way to be able to still the mind and connect in the moment. It's been scientifically proven. So what is happening now is that individuals have to learn, first of all, to breathe. It is the focusing of your breath that calms the mind. It allows you to spark levels of creativity, levels of focus, levels of awareness. Just that small act. A lot of time we think I got to sit down cross-legged and I got to lay down and savasana and all these things. No, meditation is nothing more than that inhale and that exhale. And then all you're doing is centering yourself. So when you sit down cross-legged or when you go into a meditation place and then your thoughts begin to ramble, now you return back to the breath. It centers you. So individuals start now understand that what you see on TV, that's not meditation fully. That's somebody's interpretation of it. Meditation is how you do it. Yeah. I met somebody just last night that said, he said, I don't sit down cross-legged. He said, but when I get on my bike and I take those 20, 30, 40, 50 mile cycling rides, I'm meditating because now I have to focus on my breathing and my push and my drive. I said, you meditating. I want to change people's thought when it comes to meditation. What y'all doing right now, you're doing it in excellence. I see the background. It's excellence. You know what I mean? That's how you meditate. Yes, that's those things that you deliberately think about, say, okay, this is how I want it to be. That's your form of excellence. So meditation is not just that sit down and that hum and all that. No, it's not. I can sit here, close my eyes, and literally everybody will disappear because I've learned to train my mind that way. But understand that meditation is the ability to be able to that inhale and that exhale.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Yes, sir. And what I heard was like, breathing. And I seen like this video, man, the way that you like manifest things, because you got to expect it, just like how you expect the breath, like, like your next breath coming in. And that's right. I was talking to a preacher and I was saying like, sometimes I don't feel like praying, like I just feel like meditating. And then he said, there's nothing wrong with that because God is within you. So when you talking to yourself, man, you talking to the inner God. So like me, like when I wake up in the morning, man, I go straight to the Sensorville Park and I just walk and breathe. And like everything that I need for today and like the questions I have, man, I already get it because I'm already breathing. Like the answers, like in and out, in and out. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So man, that's like essential.
Yeah. Like you think about it, everything moves the same way in the world. I was sitting on the beach and I watched how the waves came in and it went out. I was walking in the park, a wind came, it blew in, then it blew out.
Yeah.
Everything is speaking to us, but we don't pay attention.
Yeah.
When we pay attention, we're able to see, man, everything is talking to me. Everything is telling me it's that time to breathe in and to breathe out. But it's just that level of focus that we need to be able to take things to the next level.
That was actually one of my next questions. Like, how important do you feel it is for people to connect with nature? Because like, we connect with nature, we see all those things you just described. But like, as like in today's age, we're going more into a digital age and the metaverse and et cetera. So like, how important can you express how important it is to keep that balance and to go back to that when you need to reconnect and reconcile with yourself?
Oh man, it's everything. That's why even biblically it said, from the dust we came, from the dust we shall return.
Yeah.
Meaning you came from earth and you will return to it. So if that is the course of things, I must always be connected to my origin or my genesis and my exodus, my beginning and my end. So it is that thing that, again, it balances us. Whenever I find balance, guess what? When I go out in nature, man, when I really started meditating, I started seeing God in everything. While more people only see God in churches, I see him in everything.
Come on now.
Because he began to speak to me when he said, look at it, look at the wind, look how it blows. You know what I mean? Look how the sun, how it shines. Look how the birds effortlessly flow through the air. Like everything started speaking. I said, a level of gratitude that we see every day, but we take it as, that's supposed to happen. No, whenever I began to see that, I said, I understood now that God was in everything, not just in one thing. And my mind expanded. And I understood truly purpose in life. And I was able to focus on that.
Yeah, you just described like a transformation. So let's talk about your book, Transform Me. So like, Transform Me. What did it take going into that? What was the purpose and what was the process behind it?
Oh man, so and hey, look, I'm about to release it here on y'all podcast.
Okay.
So what is so awesome? that book is actually getting ready, the title is getting ready to change.
Really?
And it changed because I transformed from the time I started writing it.
Wow.
So I understood that it wasn't transform me, that the new title of the book is going to be called Find You Again.
Wow.
Okay.
Because there was a you that you lost because of the world. And find you again, the authentic you. If y'all are able to go back and pull up or see pictures of me 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't even recognize me. I had tailored suits every day. I kept a boosie fade, low cut, no face. But I was being what everybody else wanted me to be. And when I met my wife, she said these words. My wife, Jill Littlejohn Bostick, she said these words. She said, you don't have to be nobody else but you again. And I went on the discovery to find me again. And when I found me, I am my most authentic self. I am my pure self, because now I found me. I found me that was the little boy when I was young that would see things and was inquisitive and believed everything was possible. I found him again. See, there's a you that is a multimillionaire. There's a you with the body of your dreams. There's a you with the business of your dreams. You just got to find him. When you find him, you become him.
Come on now.
Last November, I was 246 pounds. March 13th, I stepped on stage at 154 and won my first men's bodybuilding physique competition. How was I able to do that? Because I found the body, the version of me that had the body I wanted.
Yes.
I found the version of me that got the mindset that I have now, and I pursued him until I became him. I said, well, how would he walk? How would he talk? You know, so we're going back to manifest. How would that person, as the #1 podcast in the world, how would you operate? First thing you said, we need to change our background. Think about it. In 1 year, you were able to see, oh, there's things that we need to change. Y'all are just finding that version of yourself that is #1. You know what I mean? For me, that's the biggest thing. So when I say find you again, that means find a version of you that you desire to be and become him or her, if you're listening.
Oh yeah. And I hear like a lot of revelation. You know what I'm saying? Like my auntie always said, you don't got no sort of revelation. But when I talk to you, man, you know your word, man, you know your Bible, man, you know your scripture, man. So how were you able to find revelation for yourself?
Oh man, I think I just really, hold on 1 second. I really went inside myself and I started seeing things from a different perspective. Like revelation is nothing more than a process of revealing something. So as things were revealed, I didn't take other people's revelation as my own. I said, okay, let's see how you see. Let me now see what I see. So that process of revelation was me revealing something that I can attain in my life. Like you will get a revelation. That's why you can read certain scriptures or quotes and get a different meaning, because you've evolved. Your thinking evolved. Your exposure to the world has evolved. So therefore your revelation will evolve as well.
I like that, man. I love it. And then you talk about your wife, man, because I know like your wife is like your #1 supporter, man, your #1 fan. And I just want to say this, you know, we live in a world where our generation is changing when it comes to having like a long-term relationship. So how, you know, as men, how were you able to fight temptation? You know, because we human beings and we all make falls and flaws. And how are you able to fight temptation and just know like your woman is the one? Absolutely.
So I'm gonna answer it from 2 perspectives.
Okay.
Who I was before. I didn't know that it wasn't the fact that, and I can be real, right?
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
Okay, we're gonna be real. Because I never saw an example, I thought that if they wanted it, I had to give it to them. So my mindset was always like, oh, I gotta do it. Until I met my wife and she said, well, and it was in a phase of us kind of courting and understanding. She was like, well, look, and she's so smart. She said, okay, if you want to do it, just let me know. Let you know. She said, you want to let me know before, and we'll talk about it. It was at that moment, Kings, that I understood that I was liberated from the thought that it wasn't that I just had to have it. I couldn't tell a woman no.
Wow.
So she liberated me by saying, go ahead and do it. So when she said, go ahead and do it, I said, but I never really wanted to. It's just I couldn't tell them no. So this version of me now, I look at things at moments and memories. Why would I give of myself and my energy? Because I had energy everywhere.
Yeah.
This one, that one, this one, that one, because I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. And I had become so artistic with being able to hurry up and read a woman to see exactly what she wanted and to become it.
Yeah.
This version of me, I said, why would I give my energy for a moment? Knowing that you can't give nothing back to me except for this moment. So when I walk out those doors, I already am locked in. Like, I'm not going to give nobody else my energy that I give to my wife. It's not even worth it, because I understand that she's so connected to my purpose on this earth that moment doesn't even matter, because we're both evolving. We're both becoming better. That's a level of stress that she don't ever have to worry about. She can now become her greatest self. Whenever you see relationships where it's going kind of back and forth, at work, thinking about, I wonder what he doing. I wonder where he at. So she can never be her greatest self. And I love my wife enough to see her evolve. I want you to become your greatest self. So let me take this off the table. You ain't got to worry about that. And I'm just locked in on who I am. I already know that. Guess what? I done had that, a plethora of that. I don't need more. I want something else. I want to direct my attention to my marriage, to my career, to my business, and now watch those thrive. Because it's the same energy. You just direct it in a certain place. Think about it. When you were pursuing her, you were pursuing her, because you had to get it.
Yeah.
I gotta have that. Like your energy was like, I gotta have that. And when you got it, you're like, I'll get a few more times. But you leave with nothing, just that one moment. Yeah, it felt good, but there was nothing that it produced. And everything energy is directed toward has to produce something. It has to produce something. So when I give my energy to my queen or my business, it's producing something. A lot of times you got people out here, you just wasting. You just wasting it. That's it.
Most definitely, man. I hear symbol without substance is nothing.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Most definitely. So you mentioned go ahead. So you mentioned focusing on your business. While I was doing my research, I was scrolling down your Instagram page, clicked the blackmanmeditate.com link. I was like, oh, he for real. Like, you got everything. So when did you realize that you could give people more than information, or this can just be more than me spreading of information on meditation, what a safe place for Black men look like I can actually monetize this while pursuing my passion and inspiring people?
Oh, absolutely. Again, because my command of scripture, it says that gifts and talents were given unto men to profit withal. And the word profit was P-R-O-F-I-T. I said, what? So you're telling me my gifts and my talent were given for profit or to profit. But it's understanding that I'm not doing it to make money.
It's value.
That's just a byproduct of it.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get somebody to connect to that brand and to your energy, but you over deliver. I got on YouTube right now 60 plus videos on meditation. I got it on mindfulness. I'm getting ready to do 4 5-week courses, men's boot camp. Because when you give value, it always comes back. But you want people to be connected to what you're doing, because I've understood something, that people will follow you when you have something worth following. They will connect to you when you have something worth connecting to. Well, if you're out here just to say, oh, look at me, I want to see every Black man be able to live their God-given right as not only a human being, but as pillars in that community as well. I want to give them the tools to be able to come out of mind state of poverty. Because I know y'all talk about financial literacy.
Right.
I want to have a calm mind. When the song says the highest energy in the room, what does that mean? When I walk in the room, I don't have to say anything. People feel me. I'm clear on who I am. I'm not trying to say, oh man, nope. I know who I am. I don't have to say a word. And the energy and the vibration, and on the next podcast we get on, we're talking about vibration or frequency. But they feel me before I said it. That's why Mahatma Gandhi, Jay-Z, Oprah can walk in a room and you're like, man, I'm in the presence of greatness. And those things are so key.
Most definitely, man. Anything?
Nah, I don't got nothing, man. Just thank you, DEJR BOSTICK, for being on this podcast, man. Just thank you for giving your time and your synergy of enlightening us young Black men, and hopefully thousands and thousands of Black men who listen to this podcast as well, man. Just thank you for being on here, man.
Most definitely, Mr. BOSTICK. So if anybody wanted to find you or get in contact with you, how can they reach you?
Okay, they can go to my website, www.blkmenmeditate.com, my IG, BLK Men Meditate, or on YouTube, Black Men Meditate. But they can just reach out to y'all and be able to, because y'all are in the ecosystem now. Y'all are part of the family now.
Most definitely, yes, sir. We want to thank you for coming on our platform and spreading your message. Yes, sir. So, Official Side Fashion, yet again, we bring to you another great creative and entrepreneur spreading a great message. There's always something new on the way. Well, yeah, check out our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. You got anything you want to leave the people with today?
Oh, yeah, man. Just keep on, just be posted, because new trends is coming on the way. And we appreciate you guys. And we love you guys.
Peace. Official Side Fashion out.
OPF out.
Make $1 million cash for you flatline. Make a master plan, watch it backfire. Burn it all down.